Disaster has just hit a small American town, houses destroyed and a whole neighborhood flooded. The army was deployed in an emergency. Hundreds are injured, some are in serious condition.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
This disaster scenario is actually a large military exercise simulating a nuclear attack.
The structure is unstable, so they'll have to stabilize it with a raker before they can get him down.
Specialized units attempt to find mannequins in a radiation-contaminated area.
Make sure he gets it back here, we got more rescue.
I have the mommy.
Good job, guys.
In this Indiana base, the U.S. Army has recreated a 400-hectare model city where 2,500 soldiers gather each year for training. It's made to be as realistic as possible, including this fake parking lot that collapsed along with dozens of cars. At the on-site hospital, the Army even recruited hundreds of extras to play the role of victims who have been exposed to radiation.
I need some water!
Oh, this is scary. I don't know where we're doing. Where's my kid?
Medics. They're all medics. We're here to help you, ma'am.
Traumatized by the past attacks on their territory, the U.S. military wants to show that it's ready for any eventuality.
Homeland response is one of our main priorities. So we do have specialized units that are on no later than like a 60-minute rapid deployment notification to get from the call to the unit and get ready to go somewhere else in the United States.
The most powerful military in the world. Close to 1.5 million soldiers and a colossal budget of $700 billion. A presence on all continents. From Iraq to Korea, from Italy to Australia. America's instrument of power and the country's last resort in case of natural disasters. Yet the world's largest army has got itself into trouble in Vietnam, Iraq and Afghanistan. In this deeply patriotic country, soldiers are considered heroes.
The best military in the world and the best country in the world.
Each state has its regiment, its port or its military airfield. We were able to gain exceptional access into 3 of their bases for several weeks. We followed the ruthless training of the soldiers.
Trinity, let's go. I got other people that got to get up this damn wall. Hurry up and get off my wall.
Under constant pressure from drill sergeants.
This isn't a game. You're America's future fighting force. If you treat it like anything else, you're going to be obsolete to this organization. Yes, sir.
In America, Special Forces soldiers are living legends. The best Ranger competition collects the best of the best in a grueling series of trials.
It's a marathon. Just maintain a steady pace throughout the whole thing and try not to do bad in anything.
Every year, the Army recruits 150,000 young men and women. The Golden Knights parachute team plays a part in inspiring them.
We can hear the crowd at about 1,500 feet, and that noise never gets old.
The military also inspires parents. Thousands of American children live in military boarding schools where discipline is relentless.
So what's all this stuff?
No excuses.
No excuses?
Yeah.
Company leadership, what are we going to do about this?
We will go to meet America's former soldiers. Some have become wealthy, but many are suffering from psychological trauma.
We sacrificed a lot, you know. We're not asking for a huge parade every day, you know what I mean? We just want to be treated with respect. Every
year they drive their motorcycles to Washington to show their course. Paratroopers, millionaire veterans, and extreme hardship. An exploration into military America. The Carolinas in the south of the United States. Their white sandy beaches. And military bases where young American recruits come to prove themselves. There are 35 barracks here, 150,000 soldiers and their families who have brought life back to entire cities. Like in Columbia, the capital of South Carolina, where the largest U.S. Army training center is located. At the airport, 700 new recruits arrive every week. Most of them come from southern states, such as California, Texas, or Florida. They are mostly men from the American middle class. This afternoon, 50 young people are getting ready to wear their uniform for the first time. As soon as they arrive, they are immediately put in line.
I am the drill sergeant in charge of the airport. The last words out of your mouth will be drill sergeant. Yes? Yes, drill sergeant. If you have any rings, watches, earrings, necklaces, bracelets, everything else, including your watch, needs to be secured inside your bags. Do it now.
They are barely 20 years old. Most of them have never lived away from their parents. This young man traveled 900 miles from his home state of Ohio.
You're going to contact your family. It'll be a very quick phone call. Once you complete your phone call, you're going to turn your phone completely off, then secure it inside your bag. Yes? Yes, sir. Do it now.
Hey, Dad. I'm just calling you. Yep, I don't think I can have too long of a conversation. I can't do too long of a conversation. I'll talk to you guys later. Okay, love you too, Dad.
A quick goodbye. This young man is not very reassured by the difficult training ahead.
Obviously a bit nervous, but I feel like I can, if I just listen to what they're saying, and I don't let my mind overwork me, then I'll be okay.
In this very patriotic town, residents have come to cheer on America's future heroes.
Good luck, everybody. Have fun.
The U.S. Army's newest recruits head to Fort Jackson. In this base, 50,000 young people are transformed into fighters every year.
Make sure that the straps don't get twisted.
As soon as they arrive, they are put to training 12 hours a day.
All right, next training. Let's go.
Colonel Evans is in charge of the training. From the first week,
are you nervous?
He puts the recruits under pressure.
No, sir. Good, good. That's the correct response I expect for soldiers. This is just the first step of a voyage that's going to last you for the rest of your life. So continue to focus on those fundamentals. That's going to make you a better soldier. And because of that, we're going to be better for it as an Army, okay? Proud of you guys.
Today is the first time young soldiers are introduced to recall. And in the U.S., the training is especially tough.
Trini, let's go. I got other people that got to get up this damn wall. Hurry up and get off my wall. Let's go.
Drill sergeants constantly yell at the recruits to put them under stress.
Trini, put your guy hand back on the rope.
Up at 4 a.m., they're exhausted, and no mistake is forgiven.
440. I promise you, if you continue in this business, this will not be your worst day. Go.
Next event, the ropes course. Nothing too strenuous. It resembles an acrobatic park more than a commando event. But some of them are frozen in fear.
Don't stop, you're gonna lose your balance.
Oh my God.
Come on, don't swing your leg. Don't get all shaky.
This is probably one of the scarier events for the trainees, just because of the fact that they're facing down and they're looking straight at the ground, and it's one of the fear factor. If they can accomplish this, there's nothing that they can't do here in basic combat training.
Obviously, not everyone here is used to these kinds of physical exercises.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, go ahead. All right, let's go.
The world's largest military isn't resistant to the obesity epidemic that is plaguing America. Nearly 1 in 5 soldiers is considered obese.
All right, tuck. All right, roll all the way down.
The reason the Army is able to turn these inexperienced youths into real soldiers is thanks to expert combat teachers. Sergeant David Castello is a respected firearms instructor. He fought in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Let's go. Now build a rhythm, go faster. There you go.
A war machine, uncompromising on discipline.
Hey, put your mask on.
As he knows that some young people will be going to the front line in a few months and that their lives are at stake.
Hey, stop. Kids, stop.
You're America's future fighting force. That's what you're building upon right now. If you treat it like anything else, you're going to be obsolete to this organization. This isn't a game. You understand me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, kids.
Rough training. But once their contract is signed, the Army offers these soldiers very comfortable living conditions.
Hey, sweetie.
Hey.
Hey, we're on the way, okay?
Okay.
David and his family live on the base, a close city of 20,000 hectares in which 3,000 inhabitants enjoy a comfort worthy of a vacation residence.
There's a water park here on post, there's a full golf course, there's a bowling alley, a movie theater. So everything that a military family would want to do, they have access to it here on Fort Jackson, which is nice.
David doesn't have a reason to leave the base. He can go shopping, go out to restaurants or bars, go to church or the hospital. The Army even has its own emergency service.
This is the senior military housing billets here. Every dependent that you have will have their own room, and they all have 2-car garages.
David earns almost $4,000 a month, and the rent of his grand house is entirely paid for by the Army. On a daily basis, the sergeant has almost no expenses.
I don't pay any bills. Yeah, so I don't pay a water bill, I don't pay an electric bill, I don't pay anything. The gas, nothing. It's all a part of this house. Every week, the lawns, and especially this terrace, it's maintained, and then they even bolt around the house to give it some aesthetics.
The reason the U.S. Army is so generous with David and his wife, Brittany, is that it requires them to be available at any given moment. Every 2.5 years, they must move to the other side of the country. This is a way for the Army to diversify the training of its soldiers, but also to prevent them from becoming too attached to their regiment and their comrades. Each of the 3 children were born in a different state, and David has sometimes left without returning for over a year.
So when we first had Addison, that was what, like 9-10 month deployment?
Yeah. Addison was born in Italy, and 2 weeks later, I deployed to Afghanistan for 9 months. So I left my wife and newborn child in another country.
Much longer missions than for French soldiers and constant moves. So, to avoid disrupting her children's lives too much, Brittany decided to homeschool them rather than send them to the base school.
Okay, we have human, happen, and reason. So it can be hard on the kids because they're constantly, having to go to new places and new schools. And I thought it might just be easier to try it.
The family just found out that they must move again. In a few months, they will be moving to Hawaii, 7,000 kilometers away. Once again, the Army has planned everything. David will not have to pack a single box.
But one good thing about it is the Army is going to hire a company. They're going to come in here. I don't have to lift a finger. They're going to pack and wrap everything. And once I get there, they're going to unpack it for me in my new house.
Despite these comfortable conditions, 1 in 6 soldiers leaves for the private sector each year. For those who retire, the Army has 150,000 positions to replace. So the institution is constantly looking to recruit. And to wow the young recruits, the Pentagon doesn't hesitate to show off. In this hidden corner of Louisiana, the Army flaunts its power. The Blue Angels are in full swing.
Oh my gosh, two jets!
It's American power. And it's fine.
An American-style show where an aerobatic plane races a truck pelting at full speed. But above all, it's a staged recruitment operation by the US Army. Away from the crowd, the team of acrobatic parachutists rehearses their show one last time.
Hot target. Hot target. Stand by. Okay, ready, set, go.
The Golden Knights are all parachutists for the Army. They are about to deliver a spectacular performance, 4,000 meters in the air.
That's just the smoke, so you can actually see us in the sky while we free fall. And it makes it just easier for the audience to see us.
They don't aim to be visible simply for the spectacular show of skydiving. The Golden Knights are part of the US Army Recruiting Directorate.
Our goal is to get people join the Army, serve their country, and be a part of the best team in the world.
This morning, the team can't afford any mistakes. This is the anniversary of D-Day, when many American paratroopers landed on Normandy.
So remember all those that came before us and what they did for us, all right? Let's end the weekend strong, yeah?
Out of the gold, into the black. Once you're there, never go back. Woo! The Golden Knights!
The parachutists must land at this very spot, right in front of the crowd. A performance from a moving plane. The 8 soldiers jump, then join together in the sky with their smoke bombs. At 900 meters from the ground, they trigger their parachutes and perform a series of figures. To the sound of the national anthem, Captain Nick lands first with the American flag right on target. The Golden Knights receive a hero's welcome.
The Golden Knights in free fall. He is the team leader for the Black Demonstration Team.
Oh, it's wonderful. We can hear the crowd at about 1,500 feet, and that noise never gets old.
Nick and his colleagues go to enjoy the crowd.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah,
thank you for your service, guys. Good job. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. We're just the face of the Army. Everybody else, I mean, the Army's full of heroes. We're just the ones that get to come out here. How'd we do?
Barely on the ground, the parachutists turn into recruiters.
Almost got it. You've almost got it. Here, I'll give you a little.
They teach the children how to pack a parachute.
We're going to slide our hands up as we walk toward the parachute.
Their goal to inspire younger kids to one day become a parachutist.
The Golden Knights are my favorite.
Carson, 16, seems convinced.
So with this job, you have to travel a lot.
Yes, you get to travel quite. So you relocate sometimes, you know. Usually it's like every 3 to 4 years. But also job depending. I don't know if you have already talked to the recruiters and stuff like that. Have you done that?
I haven't. No. I've seen them at my school though. They usually come to high schools. And
do they?
Carson is passionate about aviation. After meeting the Golden Knights, he seems ready to take the plunge.
I feel like they're just so cool. It's like I want to be them, or work for my country, and I love my country. So
Carson will have to wait until he turns 17, the minimum age requirement, before joining the Army.
You guys want a brochure?
To recruit thousands of boys and girls each year, the Pentagon has a huge budget of over $1 billion.
It's the will to fight and determination to win.
The money invested into these clips that resemble blockbuster films To appeal to young people, they are increasingly aiming to look like video games. In poor southern states, like here in Louisiana, the Army also deploys hundreds of recruiters. In America, where inequalities are high, they promise attractive benefits to the underprivileged youth. This morning, Owen and Carter, 18, have an appointment at a recruitment center.
Carter. Hi. Let's just have a seat and we can talk a little bit about this.
A few months ago, the two teenagers were approached by Sergeant Williams at their high school. As long as you're under 35, have a high school diploma, and pass the tests, anyone can join.
I mean, you guys done any research? You know anything about the Army at all?
Special Forces, all the cool guys over there.
Gotcha. So you more the combat
yeah,
type side.
Combat, pretty much,
exactly.
Yes,
See, we have roughly over 150 jobs you can choose from. You don't have to have a HR background. We're going to teach you everything.
To convince them to sign up, the sergeant will tell them very little about their future job. His main argument is all the social benefits that the Army can offer them.
So you're not paying for medical and dental. The Army's going to take care of that. We're going to give you housing. We talked about housing. You get meals. As you guys are going to definitely get education benefits available. We have your tuition assistance. It's roughly about $4,000 a year for school. So like myself, the Army helped pay for my degree.
In a country where health insurance can cost up to $800 per month and $50,000 per year to go to university, these promises immediately hit home. Owen's plan is to go to college. The Army will pay for it on the condition that he enlists for 6 years.
And could you afford like 5 years of college right now?
No, not right now. Not right now at all. I'm really excited for the educational benefits because it'll give me a chance to further my education. I haven't decided what I want to do yet, but I've thought about going into teaching.
And for the most exposed units, the Army offers a $34,000 bonus. Again, under the serious condition that they will become an infantry fighter.
Once they complete basic training, their job training, that $40,000 or so is in their bank account.
So where do I sign?
Hey.
Aren't you scared of dying on taking your tour?
I am, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, it's for the country. And I don't want my family doing it. I want it all on me.
By the end of the interview, both teens decided to enlist.
Man, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Yes, sir.
By joining the infantry, they can earn up to $42,000 a year. The military career is a way out of poverty that continues to entice new recruits, especially women. They represent 16% of the workforce, one of the highest rates in the world. This single mother is reluctant to enlist. She's worried about going on a mission away from her baby.
After I won't have to go anywhere, so I have to do nothing.
So you're talking about like a deployment and stuff like that. They let you know way in advance. Like he knew he was going to Africa way in advance. It's gonna suck. I'm not gonna lie to you. Being away from your child, of course. But at the end of the day, you kind of know I'm doing this for a bigger cause. And even single fathers that kind of come in and they're starting looking at different opportunities because again, they look at the benefit. How this not only going to benefit myself, but be able to provide for my child as well. So it definitely helps out.
In this office alone, 100 women and men sign up each year. Many have hopes of joining the Special Forces, famous for their daring operations and unusual standards. In particular, the Rangers, an elite unit of only 3,500 members. In a small town in Georgia, two soldiers enjoy their last moments with their families. Joshua, 36, and Ryan, 31, are about to take part in one of the most difficult tests of their lives.
Daniel, turn around. Turn around, bud. Coming up, we got the best Ranger competition that we're going to be doing. And Ryan here's my partner. We're going to be partners on a team. And our lucky number, if you will, is 42. So you got running, ruck march, shooting, swimming, rappelling, obstacle courses, the whole plethora.
The best Ranger competition, 3 days without sleep, the best fighters of the American Army compete.
My other plate, please.
Tonight, Joshua and Ryan are taking a break after months of intensive training and dieting.
Because that's what the competition will have, is you're going to be covering many miles. So that's what it basically boils down to, getting as many miles packed into 1 week.
How many miles?
Capped out at like 80, 85.
A week?
In a week, yeah. But there's no other competition that compares to Best Ranger. But just the amount of stuff that the competitors are asked to do, physically and skills-wise.
These two soldiers have endured strenuous combat in the mountains of Afghanistan. The challenge that awaits them will put them to the test.
In my head that can make me turn it into a calculator.
It's 4:30 a.m. at the Fort Benning base. Hundreds of relatives are already there to encourage the candidates in a jovial atmosphere.
This year we had 51 total teams.
Joshua and Ryan got up at 2 in the morning.
Team 42, Sergeant First Class Peterson and Sergeant First Class Van Horn.
Each of the elite units sent their best and brightest to compete against each other. The first event, 10 kilometers in combat gear, just to warm up. Now is where it gets difficult for Joshua and Ryan with the dreaded obstacle course. At the beginning, the two teammates look pretty confident.
I think the swim is going to be the worst.
Joshua and Ryan get through the first obstacles with ease, but as they cross the gap, Ryan feels his strength falter. He gets a second try.
Go. There you go, bro. There you go. You got it. It's all good. Shake it off, brother. It's all good.
After this setback, both soldiers must start the competition at the bottom of the overall ranking. Ryan counts on making up for it at the shooting event.
Let's go.
This special operations fighter is an expert in close combat, shooting with an assault rifle or shotgun. It's almost like a fitness circuit.
Go.
The team must then storm this enemy building in a minimum time. The descent is more complex than the ascent.
You got it.
Both partners finish first in this event.
This is a tiebreaker.
Okay.
For them, hope has returned.
Bro, you fucking crush it. 10, 11.
Shooting with a sniper rifle, leading the rescue of a wounded pilot in an enemy zone.
Still good, holding.
Blow up an enemy position with a grenade or a rocket launcher. The competition reflects the unique skills of the Rangers, the elite of the US Army. Fighters who, like Ryan, are always the first to land in hostile terrain.
Am I good? I wanted to be a part of a unit that was, kind of the tip of the spear. They get to do things that other units don't get to do. They have capabilities other units don't have, and you really get the opportunity to make a difference in any situation that pops up worldwide, because they're going to be one of the first units that gets called on to go handle a situation.
Recently, the Rangers made a spectacular show of skill by participating in Syria in the elimination of terrorist al-Baghdadi, the leader of ISIS, an operation that made America proud.
Last night, the United States
brought the world's #1 terrorist leader to justice.
The Rangers' first day of competition ends. Joshua and Ryan's wives will finally get to hug their husbands briefly.
Wow. There it is! Oh, yeah!
The kids are also eager to see their dads, who arrive in style in a helicopter assault at the end of a rope.
Yes, it's him! I see Daddy! I see another 40. Hey, Daddy!
Hey, hey, hey.
So you were going in the helicopter?
Yeah.
Fun?
What do you think?
Yeah.
The next few hours are crucial, as at the end of this first day, the jury will eliminate half of the teams. They encounter a problem, the endurance challenge. Ryan and Joshua experience fatigue and delays. They arrive amongst the last, and they're not really in the mood to talk to us anymore.
Well done, guys. Bonjour. Bonjour. How are you guys doing? Legs? Fine?
In the provisional ranking, the team is 31st, below the elimination bar.
I don't know. You don't know what it means.
We gotta get about 3. We need 3 more spots tonight. So
Have your mask on if you're close.
just gotta cruise on the ruck. Knock some teams off.
Despite their optimism, by the end of the last race of the day, both soldiers are taken out of the competition. The next day, Joshua comes to encourage his comrades at the finish line.
Looking good, boys. Looking good.
In 3 days, these soldiers will have covered 112 kilometers and triumphed in about 20 events. These images of the Special Forces are a part of the American dream for many. Some parents would like to see their children become a general or chief of staff of the army. To give them every chance of reaching the top of the military hierarchy, these families don't hesitate to prepare them from an early age. In Missouri, a conservative state in the center of rural America. For 130 years, young boys have ended each day with the sound of a bugle, meticulous ceremonies, and impeccable uniforms. It's like being in a barracks. The Missouri Military Academy does not belong to the Army. It's a private high school which offers an education in military values. The 200 students are mostly sons of bankers, lawyers, and doctors. At the head of the school is Colonel Rick Grabowski. This former Marine personally oversees the strict standards of discipline.
They could have done a little bit better, so they're going to get some additional instruction tonight on formations. We always want perfection. Give the boys the opportunity to get out and be leaders, get them out of their comfort zone, and teach them leadership.
These teenagers are between 13 and 19 years old, and in this boarding school, every minute of their lives is regulated. The days are grueling, starting at 6 a.m., standing at attention in their pajamas.
Let's go, Jensen. Let's get in the rooms, get squared away, let's go. You gotta shave, you gotta get yourself cleaned up, let's do so.
Morning. Morning. Shirt off or come out here to film crew.
Michael, on the other hand, has been ready for a long time. At 17, this model high school student has been named Dormitory Commandant.
Everything has to be organized because everything has a place. Yeah, we just attention to detail. We always have somewhere, something has to always be somewhere. And yeah, it's just what we do.
The second he wakes up, Michael must be an exemplary leader. As here, it's students like him who make the rules.
Carry on. Let's go. Hurry this up. Shouldn't take this long.
The students only have 30 minutes to get dressed, clean their rooms,
Doors open.
All right, gentlemen, hurry up.
and make their beds.
Go.
Hurry it up. Hurry it up. Hurry it up. And we walk around every like 2 minutes. We're expected to make our beds like this every morning. Make sure that there's no wrinkles in the bed. Here it's supposed to be 12 inches, and here it's supposed to be 6. And it's not supposed to bend like this. And then when you make a hospital corner here, which is a 45-degree line, like this, then that's how you make your bed.
So military standards, pretty much.
Yep. Very military standards.
Band company 5, 4.
At 6:30 on the dot, everyone must stand outside of their rooms.
1. Get your uniforms ready. Finish up anything else in your rooms. Be ready for inspection.
About face.
Michael reviews each student.
Your private store's like way too high. It's fine, don't fix it now. Do an about face. You need to get your pants lengthened, all right?
Sir.
Do an about face.
And no one would dare to contradict the young leader.
I'm a company commander. Everybody in this company has to listen to me. And then even when cadets aren't in my company, since I'm a high rank, they so have to listen to what I say.
Is it all?
They just get punished.
A life under constant surveillance, with no privacy. Every move is made at marching pace, even to go to breakfast.
Nose down, carry on.
Despite the uniform, these boys are still teenagers with an attitude. And this morning, an incident occurs. A youngster has just thrown away his breakfast. His group leader gets angry and is about to get physical. He was immediately pushed aside by his classmates and told to stay in a corner. The adults did not intervene. It may seem surprising, but in this school, it's young leaders like Michael who must learn to handle conflicts between peers.
Like that? It was just like a, oh, and then I was just like, wow. When I tell him, like, take his arms off the table, or like, take his back off the table, he wouldn't do it, and I'm like, I get pissed.
Next time, as soon as he like says anything, he's like, no, I don't want to do that. Don't try to have a physical confrontation with him. Go get a tour, go get somebody like that.
Michael's parents pay $34,000 a year to send him to this boarding school. His mother works for an insurance company and his father is a railroad engineer. For this upper-middle-class family, it's a heavy sacrifice. But they know that their son will receive a top-quality education here. Small group classes, an extensive library, a 40-hectare campus, and a variety of sports activities. There are few opportunities to rest, but the colonel assures us that the military rigor is producing results.
Most of our parents see an instant improvement in their grades in the school because of just the fact that they have, there's things here that they cannot do, like go out at night and relax and do whatever they want. They're in study hall at night. Every moment of their day is scheduled to do something. And so the academic side typically goes up pretty quickly.
The students are constantly put in competition with each other to push them to excel. In a few days, a ceremony will present Michael and his band to all the other classes of the school. So their teacher, Robert, a former musician in the British Royal Navy, doesn't forgive any mistakes.
Look in! Tommy, keep doing the cadences for a while, get them a bit break.
They give it 100%. I ask for 120%. I'll always push them as much as I can.
Isn't it too much sometimes for kids in a young age?
Yes and no. In the moment, yes. But later on in life, I think it builds character, stamina, endurance. So we all know in life things happen which we don't expect. and you have to be able to deal with that.
Only a few days left to improve before the end of year competition. As a good band leader, Michael motivates his troops one last time.
Make sure your uniform is together, make sure it looks good. Nobody is too special to be in the band. Not even if you're a senior that's been here for 3 years, 19 years, it doesn't matter. So yeah, we're all the band, so just take care of each other, that's all. Hey, chill.
It's the end of the week for the students. But at the boarding school, there's never time to slack off. In the dormitories, a surprise inspection is under preparation.
Attention Bravo Company, attention Bravo Company, 5 minutes till inspection.
It may be a Saturday morning, but the young leaders don't hold back on one of their classmates.
That shouldn't happen.
A young man has left his clothes in a pile in his laundry basket.
So have you just not turned in laundry for the past 3 weeks, or?
This is terrible.
That was a question. I need you to answer it. So what's all this then?
No excuses. No excuses? Yeah. Company leadership, what are we going to do about this? Hey, take his laptop.
Yeah, go give that down to the mentor, and when he's done cleaning all of this stuff up, you can go get it back. They're messy.
Not everyone can withstand this military discipline. After a year at the academy, this is one test too many for the boy.
Are you back next year?
Oh, no, definitely not. No, definitely not coming back next year.
Why not?
Huh?
Why not?
I don't know, because I want to live like a normal teenager. Like, the punishments are kind of more of like just stupid, like go run around the school or face the wall, sit like this at the mess hall, like stuff like that, you know. But that's just like, I mean, I would be, if I had the power of another 17-year-old, I'd do the same thing. That's why teenagers shouldn't be able to reign over other teenagers, because it just doesn't make sense, right? So.
Like him, 15% of students drop out of military high school before graduation. The final day of the year competition has finally arrived. Every class in the high school will parade in front of the colonel. They all hope to win first place for the best performance.
It's really competitive. All the companies are in competition, and then we get graded. Band usually wins, but like, I'm hoping that we can win today.
The ceremony will be broadcast online and will be watched by parents all over the country.
He's using the restroom. No, he's not.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Missouri Military Academy welcomes you to our 2021 Mother's Day Review.
Each gesture has been rehearsed hundreds of times. High school students deliver a parade worthy of a professional army. In the front row, the colonel scrutinizes each group and scores each uniform. He must choose the company which performed the best parade. It is Michael's band's turn to be scored. It's going to be difficult to choose the winning team.
We're now going to announce the results for the review. And the winner is Delta Company.
Delta Company won first place. The colonel also chooses the student who will command all the high school students in the new school year. And it is Michael.
So next thing is supposedly... you did it!
The best of the high school students will go to the most famous military schools like West Point or the Naval Academy. They know that the U.S. Army will open up opportunities for them for life in American society. In this very patriotic country, many former soldiers take advantage of America's love for the military to build fortunes. After the military, 1 in 20 veterans start a business.
All right, go ahead, boys, lock and load.
In southern Arizona, a businessman takes a break in the middle of his workday. Ellie Crane, 41 years old,
All right, move up to the tree.
is a former member of the prestigious Navy SEALs.
Nice, 2. Star.
The ex-sniper has lost none of his old reflexes.
Man. Little rusty. It's just fun because you have to focus in on what you're doing, and so it makes you block out all the other distractions in your life.
And there's no shortage of things to worry about since Ellie founded his company 8 years ago. In his Tucson workshop, his past as a soldier is never too distant.
What is up, Chris? Good, how you doing, man?
Not too bad. Good morning.
There's plenty of ammunition on the shelves here.
Just trying to get some new photos for the website.
I like it.
After 13 years of shooting thousands of bullets, Ellie had the idea of using them in a much more peaceful and friendly way. He turns the bullets into harmless bottle openers.
It's the mother of all breachers, and we say that no beer is safe. Because, I mean, look at this thing. Look how big and awesome this thing is.
Ellie sells these bullets for $20 on the internet. He ships 400 a week. Amongst his customers are celebrities like actor Clint Eastwood and former President George W. Bush. The next candidates are a military couple. Her success started with a stint on a famous TV show with his wife, Jane.
We made each one of you guys a personalized 50 caliber beer bottle opener.
To set himself apart, Ellie highlights his background in the Special Forces.
You know, I'm so honored to be able to serve with the guys that I got to serve with the last 8-9 years. I did 3 combat deployments to Iraq.
I like the story. It's very simple. I've made money with military guys because they're focused. I'll do it for 20%.
You guys are awesome. Let's do it. Yes.
That day, Ellie walked away with $150,000 worth of investments.
I didn't go to business school, but I took a lot of the training that we got in the military, and I think that works on the battlefield, and I think it also works in business.
Today, Ellie has a turnover of $1.2 million and employs 15 people, most of whom are former soldiers. Thanks to his business, he was able to buy a grand villa overlooking the city, with a breathtaking view of the desert. He lives there with his wife and 2 daughters.
How was your day today?
Good. In Bible today, we were learning about spiritual warfare.
But like all former soldiers, Ellie is still haunted by the memory of his years on the front lines. He lost several comrades there.
Chet got killed. Jimbo.
What happened to him?
He got shot by the scar. It makes me miss it. It makes me miss the guys. I got ambushed by 3 guys with machine guns at like about 110 yards, and it was like I was really close to getting killed. And
I feel like it's the big reason why you go big.
yeah,
You go big with the house you bought, you go big with the business you own, you just go big in life because you understand how short life is.
Ellie's next challenge is to use his image as a soldier to get into politics. A possibility, as Americans like to elect veterans. In the United States, 17% of the members of Congress are former military. But on the other side of the country, other ex-combatants feel that America has forgotten them. In the hills of Virginia, the graves of soldiers stretch as far as the eye can see. 7,000 of them died in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan alone. But many have been victim of the suicide epidemic, which claims 6,000 veterans each year. In this house lives a former Marine who has dedicated his life to his country.
So this is my, I guess, retirement gift or parting gift from my last unit. It's a 9mm. It's the civilian equivalent of what we carried as a sidearm. So it was kind of a reminder, you know, of those times.
From his 15 years of combat in the Marines, Zook doesn't only have good memories.
Hey bro, what's up? This is Howie.
Like his friend Hogg, he suffers from post-traumatic stress. For them, motorcycling is more than a passion. It's therapy.
This is the bike. I came back from a deployment and I needed a healthy distraction. And so coming back, you know, from a long deployment, my first Afghan deployment, mentally and emotionally, I just wasn't in a place to cope, you know what I mean? And I knew alcohol. I do tell people sometimes this bike, the reason I don't sell it or get rid of it is I feel like in some ways it kind of saved my life.
Depression, nightmares, a daily occurrence for 500,000 Iraq and Afghanistan veterans who have been diagnosed by the military with combat-related trauma.
It's a good outlet, especially for us military guys. I can only speak for myself, but a lot of times, stuff that happens in your head gets to be a little too much, so it's nice to be able to jump on the bike and just forget about stuff.
Zook is the founder of the Sons of Blackwater, a motorcycle club dedicated to fighting veteran suicide. Every year, over 6,000 ex-soldiers end their lives, a suicide rate almost twice that of the general population. At the clubhouse, Zook and his friends meet on weekends to support each other.
It's my brother Grump here, retired soldier, Army.
And to spread some military fun.
This, of course, our Mattis Shrine, which we're very proud of. General Mattis led the invasion into Iraq. He's had very notable quotes that we all love as Marines. You know, he used to say, you know, I love that Marines can be polite and be professional, but they have a plan to kill everyone in the room.
From the military, these former soldiers have kept the spirit of camaraderie.
Mac, I need you to do me a favor and go behind the bar.
Yeah.
And do an inventory check real quick, please.
I can
All
do that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
At 70 years old, Mac is always willing to help out at the club. Every year he organizes a big event in the heart of the American capital.
It's a matter of parking 10,000 or 20,000 or 30,000 of our closest friends.
This Vietnam veteran demands that the psychological injuries of veterans be better taken care of.
They say that about 22 veterans a day are taking their own lives, and that's not acceptable. And you'll hear all these motorcycles leaning really hard on the throttles, making as much noise as you can, so people inside the Capitol will get their attention.
The next day, thousands of people were already gathered at this parking lot on the outskirts of Washington, D.C. You can't miss Mac, who guides the arrivals.
Follow him, making a big loop.
These ex-soldiers come from Indiana, Kentucky, or Mississippi. Some ride for 20 hours, demanding a major national plan against suicides.
So this is a way of reminding our nation's leaders that we have not forgotten, and we don't want our government to forget either.
25,000 bikers drive to Washington, D.C. In front of the Capitol, the seat of the Parliament, they make sure to make their engines roar to remind their elected representatives of their fight. Given the scale of their event, there is no doubt that the veterans will be heard.